If you're going to resist a carjacking, you have to have not only an attitude to do so, but the skills and the plan as well. Hi everyone, this is John with today's active self-protection lesson. Today's lesson is a very sad one, and it comes to us from Johannesburg, South Africa. It shows a carjacking that goes as wrong as it can go, and we end up with a dead car owner. Going to teach us some important lessons here about transitional spaces, about having the skills and plan to back up your attitude to protect yourself, about knowing when to act and how to act, and as well about spiritual fitness. What we see here is very common. This is South Africa, and you see this couple coming home and they're pulling their car into their carport and they have a gate on the house. This is very common in South Africa. And now the gate is going to close and people have gated homes because of the very high violent crime rate there. And people get complacent. They really think that they're in a safe environment. They're okay because now they're in their home. But what we see here is the armed attacker comes in to carjack him here and sticks a gun right in his face. Now the driver there jumps out and has help from the passenger. So they're both going after this guy, but there's a second guy at the door and you can see him there. And when they focus too much on the first guy, the second guy shoots that one in the back. And now that's it. If you go read the news story, you go look at the original, the victim here died of his injuries a little bit later. Now the carjackers run off. I don't know that they were intending to shoot somebody, but that's what they got out of it. And there's still plenty of danger around here as the passenger then goes and jumps into the driver's side, and the driver then is going to go jump into the passenger side, badly wounded, and he's going to die later. Let's go back and think about some lessons here. Number one, you got to think of your car as a transitional space. When you go from outside to inside, from moving to stopped, your car becomes a transitional space and you got to watch out for it as such. Next though, we see our carjacker actually give a little bit of a good thing here, a little bit of an advantage, because he sticks his gun and himself right into that doorway and gives him a spot where the good guy can actually practice the 5Ds and control, but he wasn't able to do that. And so the carjacker is able to pull out and pull his firearm out and gain some distance and make the defender run after him to try to control. And that's where this all starts to really go south. Now, right here, they're 2-on-1, and that's not bad, but you got to control the distance. And then the boarding house rules come in because they focused on one threat too much. The second threat is the one that really did them in. Now, I don't blame them too much for that here. They were unarmed and the carjackers were armed, and so they're at a very high disadvantage. But that's why we talk about the boarding house rules. That's why we talk about the danger of fighting an armed attacker when you're unarmed. You only can do that if you have the 5Ds and you've really got a lot of practice at disarms and about defending yourself against an armed attacker. Now it's time for follow-up, man. It's here. There's got a mortally wounded person. We don't know that he's mortally wounded if you're in that in the moment. And now this guy's going to run off here, and you got to be able to get out of the danger zone, stay in the fight as long as you possibly can if you're that guy that's injured, and then get to the hospital and use your first aid skills. That's why we talk about them being so important. Overall, man, it's just a tragedy. These are the kind of things that we don't want to see, which is why we work hard on the 5Ds. We work hard on defending ourselves and knowing those transitional spaces, keeping our force multipliers on us so that we can cover our ASP.